Hello Year 9. The purpose of this video is to help you build the necessary knowledge and confidence so that you will be able to complete assessment task 3 happily and with some success. Now, as you know, the focus of assessment task 3 is on rights and freedoms, with a particular emphasis on the rights and freedoms of Australian Indigenous people. So just to recap, your exam involves skills and knowledge, but here you will be working on a planning page that is focused on knowledge, building up knowledge about the rights and freedoms of Australian Indigenous people. I'm just going to talk you through the document. So the purpose of this planning page again is to check your knowledge. You will be checking your knowledge. The purpose of these questions on the planning page is to help you identify what content you need to learn so that you have the necessary knowledge to complete assessment task 3. So for every topic listed, you must decide and write down what you know. If you don't know anything, that's fine. But it's good for you to note on your planning page that you have absolutely no knowledge of that topic. What you know or what you need to revise. So you might be a bit vague, I can't really remember, but yes, I know I did some work on that. That's telling you that you can go back and revise previous work. So what you know, what you need to revise, what you need to find out. So if you don't know anything, make a note of it. You will need to find that information. Also, how you will get the information. Now, you've got a lot of support with how you get the information, because if I scroll down to the bottom of the document, there are a whole lot of resources that I have linked, and I'll be showing you shortly how you can check those resources to see if they're relevant for particular topics. And then you can just paste the link underneath the topic. Okay. Remember that because the focus is on rights and freedoms, with a particular emphasis on the rights and freedoms of Australian Indigenous people, these are some good questions to be asking about each topic. So when you investigate that topic, when you gather information, what were the injustices that Aboriginal people experienced? How can the information that you've gathered help you answer that question? So you should be able to answer the question, what were the injustices that Aboriginal people experienced in relation to that topic? What efforts did Aboriginal people and their allies, so white Australians or immigrants that were on their side, what efforts did Aboriginal people and their allies make to achieve positive change on the issue of Aboriginal rights and freedoms? And were there any positive changes achieved in relation to that particular topic? If you can answer those questions, you will certainly be able to confidently complete the extended response question on your exam and answer the other questions. The guideline here is if you can answer these questions in response to at least 4 topics, you should be able to complete the extended response in assessment task 3, particularly as you will be doing other work up until the assessment task. Topic 1, 1948, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, or the UDHR. So you should be able to talk about the purpose of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the role Australia played in the development of the UDHR, or Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the Australian Indigenous experience of a lack of human rights in 1948. Here are the questions. You would have made a copy of this document and you'll be making a note. What do I know? What do I need to revise? What do I need to find out? What sources can I use for information? So it might be, I don't know a lot. Yes, I think I did something. I'll go back and look at my past activity that I did with Miss Issa. What do I need to find out? Might be, I need to find information that's relevant to all 3 dot points. Just write that down. Be honest. This is your planning document. You don't need to lie. What sources can I use for information? Okay, we're going to use this one as an example. So I'll scroll down to the resources. There's a timeline. You could click onto that. Oh, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. What were the rights? So we'll click onto this one. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So here's a PDF. It's an entire book. Let's get it a little bit bigger. We've got an introduction, and then we have got all of the human rights listed in this book. Okay, so everyone, let's look at a few of them. So everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration without distinction of any kind, such as race, colour, sex, language, religion, and so on. Okay. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms. That one's an interesting one because Aboriginal people were held in slavery of sorts. So that you know, when these declarations came out in 1948, that some Aboriginal people were in positions where they were not allowed, they were not permitted to leave their employment. They could be brought back by the police if they tried to get away. So even looking at this gives you some things to think about once you go into the topic. Rights and Freedoms booklet, Macaulay. Let's open that up. Okay, we're going to do, hopefully this will not take too long to open up. If I do a word search, so look, we start off with the United Nations. That gives you a lot of valuable information. But for other topics, so on the Apple computer, I would be going Control F, and let's use an example. One of the topics involves you investigating the stolen generation. What does that mean? So I've done Command F and I've got it in the search box. Find the text. Stolen generations. We know that in Chapter 10 we cover stolen generations. Next arrow down. Stolen generations. Arrow down again. Thousands of children were forcibly removed from their parents and became the stolen generations. The Macaulay booklet is great. You've got your chapters and you can also do word searches that will take you to the key terms that are relevant for particular topics. Okay, so scrolling back up again. Second topic, the experience of Australian Indigenous people after the 1788 invasion. The suffering and the struggles of Australian Indigenous people after 1788. The protection policy, the reasons for the policy and its failure to protect Indigenous people. So what do I know? What do I need to revise? What do I need to find out? And so on. And what we might do is use the Macaulay document again. Lots of other resources, but I'm showing you how useful this is. Okay, so we will write Command F, and we're going to write protection. There is a chapter on the protection policy, Chapter 7. There's an activity involving the protection policy. And so on. So you can see that the Macaulay booklet is very useful. The Australian assimilation policy. This is extremely important. This was a policy that became federal Australian policy after 1937, although children had been stolen before 1937. Okay, what made the Australian policy racist? How the assimilation policy resulted in the stolen generation. You fill this in. The early 20th century struggle of Aboriginal people for human rights. Look at the 1938 Day of Mourning. What was achieved by the 1938 Day of Mourning? 5. The connections between the US civil rights movement and the Australian civil rights movement. We've got all these dot points. Topic 6, the Australian and the US freedom rides. You should be able to talk or write about the purpose of the freedom rides in both the US and Australia, and to understand the influence of the US freedom rides on Australia. Again, look, the Macaulay booklet's got information on all these topics. Significant gains for Australian Indigenous people. There are a few topics here, but if you're going to write about the way that the Indigenous access to human rights improved over time, gradually improved over time, although it's still a work in progress, you must be able to talk about particular events. Now, there is relevant information listed below, but you can also do some research. I'm going to give of your own, if you so wish. I'm going to give you an example of how to do that. Okay, so you want something that you can understand. So Mabo decision for kids YouTube. How about you use those key terms? Often adding for kids after a search topic helps you to find easier information. Oh, who is Eddie Mabo and what is his legacy? Behind the News. Now that is a news and history program for children. So if we click onto that.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are advised that the following...
It's going to be student friendly.
Australia and had been.
Okay, so that is a good technique that you can use. Okay. Now, with these sources below, in some cases it's very obvious what topic they are linked to, such as Duxter's American Civil Rights Movement. There's the textbook chapter. You've already got that, but I've linked things here for your convenience. The Wave Hill Strike and Vincent Lingiari. So again, it's pretty obvious what topic that relates to. And what you will do is answer these questions. If you like, you can even add another column where you make your notes. You could add a little topic here, which is relevant information, then use those sources to make notes. So you're creating a lovely document that's full of relevant information to these particular topics. I hope this has been useful. As you can see, Year 9, you can take a lot of responsibility for building knowledge and confidence that is necessary for the exam. All the best.